She at your head, I ain't talking bald face. She don't fuck with baby daddies, fucking up the feng shui. Taking care of 4 kids, Sunday to Sunday. Flyer than round trips when she hit the runway. Comedy original, she do shit her own way. Made the stage her place, moving at her own pace. Fuck with her the wrong way, it's gonna be a long day. She watch basketball, wives, loving hip hop too. Born in 81, one day forward turned to 82. Funny, ratchet, and cute, she a winner, that's true. She don't even take L's, eating alphabet soup. Mayday, mayhem, 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 mayday, mayhem. She a cool black nerd, always been smart. Ever since she turned 8, wanted her name in the charts. Monty Python was a shit, Richard Pryor made a start. Red Fox and Eddie Murphy, inspiration to her art. Who you know got banned from the dollar store for throwing canned goods at a baby father though. She a good mother though. She ain't worried about laughs cause she gon' get a lot of those. Showtime at the Apollo though. And she paint the perfect picture telling stories up in all the jokes. You don't really want the drama, bro. Cause Mabel cool, Mayday nice, Mayday want all the smoke. Mayday, mayhem, Mayday, mayhem, Mayday, mayhem, Mayday, mayhem, Mayday, mayhem, Mayday, mayhem, Mayday, mayhem.
And welcome back to another episode of the Mayday Mayhaim podcast. And I am your host, Mayday Mayhaim. And today we will be speaking about the infamous, if you haven't heard about it, the Heather Mack case. Now, before I get into the Heather Mack case, we're gonna do a little talks about it. First off, I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. But this case is a little how do you say, different than other cases, because if you look up Heather Mack's case, it happened in a whole nother country, but it originated kind of here in the United States, actually Oak Park, but we're going to get to that. So again, thank you for joining me for the Mayday Mayhaim podcast. I am your host, Mayday Mayhaim. You can also reach out and subscribe to my Instagram at Mayday_Mayhaim, or please subscribe to the channel, Mayday Mayhaim, right here. Just hit that like button, subscribe, and we're going to keep it going. Let's go. But first, we're talking about Heather Mack. Now, it was a lot of controversy that it was said that Heather Mack was adopted. And we're here to clear that up. Heather Mack was not adopted. Okay. She was not. She was actually, she is actually the daughter of a jazz composer that passed away, who was James L. Mack. Okay. That was actually Heather Mack's father. Now, he was a composer, and he worked for the Mediterranean Cruise in 2001. He suffered a foot injury, and he pretty much it didn't go well. He didn't receive adequate treatment from the ship's doctor, resulting in a partial paralysis. He filed suit against the Royal Caribbean, saying that his partial paralysis and had to, this is the documentary from what I'm reading, urinate in a bottle, but the case took many years to resolve. In 2004, the police were called to the Mack residence over claims that the children from James' previous relationship were denied access to their fathers by Heather's mother, who would turn off the lights and pretend not to be home. So there was actually a little alleged things going on inside the Mack home. So we have to keep that in mind. But tragically, in 2006, Mack went on a vacation to Greece. During the trip, James L. Mack died in his hotel room from a pulmonary embolism in August of 2006. Now, everyone talks about a settlement, a settlement, a settlement, a settlement. This is where the settlement money comes in because he left money to his daughter, in his passing of like $1.3 million. Okay. For her, you know, and she wanted her money. But of course, her mother was the overseer. Now, it was alleged that Mack, Heather Mack and her mother did not get along. And allegedly, it was 86 police calls to the house because they were not getting along. Allegedly. Okay. So they had a kind of tumultuous relationship. Okay. So we kind of also have to keep that in mind. But regardless of that, her father was a great composer. He's a jazz composer. He made music. He was also a composer and teacher at the Harold Washington Library. If anyone in the comments could please correct me if I'm wrong, but he was a great composer. He did make music. So he had that thriving spirit in him. Now, he was married to Heather Mack's mother, Sheila Von Wiese Mack. Okay, that's Heather's mother. Now, allegedly, they stayed in Oak Park, Illinois, and Heather and her mother did not get along. Okay, Heather went to high school in Oak Park, and she met a boy named Tommy Shaffer. Okay, so you wonder, like, well, how does this go from you meeting a boy and then the mother becoming deceased in a whole nother country? We're finna get there. Now, mom is, allegedly, trying to get things together with her daughter. Okay. Now, from what we can see, they travel a lot. They go to Greece, France. They travel around the world, so they move around. They move around a lot. You know, so it's alleged, and I have to say alleged because in some of the reports it said that allegedly Heather was pregnant by Tommy Shaffer before and was allegedly made to have an abortion. Allegedly. We have to say allegedly because I wasn't there, you wasn't there, we wasn't there, but this is what it says. So, again, mom takes daughter to Bali. They go to Bali. That's over there in Indonesia. She just takes her and her daughters, just her and daughter. So it's just Heather and Sheila going to Bali. All of a sudden, Heather steals, allegedly, her mom's credit card and flies Tommy Shaffer overseas to Bali, allegedly to tell her mother that she's pregnant again by Tommy Shaffer. Because by this time, mom has allegedly moved from Oak Park to the Gold Coast of Chicago to allegedly stop the relationship between Tommy Shaffer and Heather because it was a tumultuous relationship. And as parents, and I'm a parent, and sometimes, even if you're not a parent, you might see certain situations with friends or relatives or even just random people. And you might say, that's not a good situation to be in. So in this situation, mother was trying to protect her daughter. Okay. Now, we weren't there, but allegedly, that's what happened. So at this time, they get to Bali. Now they're at Bali. Tommy Shaffer shows up, and now allegedly it's ruckus going on. Now this is where it gets bad. And of course, I will not be showing any graphic pictures on this stream or any streams. If you want to look it up, all you have to do is look up the suitcase erders and you will see what happened. But I'm going to tell you in as small of graphic details as possible what happened. Allegedly, when they get to the hotel, Tommy Shaffer allegedly shows up, and he and Heather order her mother Sheila with a fruit bowl and then put her body inside of a suitcase and try to put it in the back of a cab, and they were going to take the money and flee and run. Now at this time, let's not forget, Heather is absolutely pregnant. She's pregnant this whole time. So they make up a scandalous story because they're caught, because of course there's blood on a suitcase and you're in a whole nother country. In the Bali, people are like, yo, there's something going on here. Like, these two people put this suitcase in this, and there's a person in here that is no longer alive. Yo, it's something going on. So they find them. And again, they make up a story about some men kidnapped them and the whole story, and they find out the story to be false. So they lock up Heather and Tommy Shaffer, and they are charged with the murder of Sheila Von Wiese Mack. Now, this is where it takes a real weird, twisted turn. Heather got 10 years in the Indonesia prison. She only served 8. Now, let's not forget, Heather is pregnant. In Indonesia, you're allowed to, of course, you have to take care of your baby. Of course, I'm not going to show the child on here. I'm not doing that. She's a child. She deserves her privacy. It's not her fault that her parents did what they did. You know what I'm saying? But here's a censored picture. She did have a child, and he is the father. So while they're in prison, they are simultaneously also taking care of their child until I believe she's about 4 or 5. And the relatives of Sheila Mack take the child, and they're raising the child. I believe here somewhere in America. I'm not sure. But wherever they are, they're taking care of the child. The child's taken care of. However, Tommy Shaffer received 18 years there. Now, Heather has came back home to America. Now, when she got back home to America, she was tried here. Let's not forget, she had to be tried here for that murder of her mother, because it was pretty much allegedly planned, because there were emails found. And it was pretty much planned that this is what she was going to do, and to get the inheritance from what her father left her, because if her mother allegedly was out the picture, she can get the inheritance, and then her and Tommy could have their family together. But so she and Tommy concocted this plan allegedly to go overseas and take care of her mother and then come back. That was going to be their plan. And they found to do allegedly emails and text messages. And she had to come back here to America to be tried. So she was given 10 years in Bali. And they gave her, she served 8 and she came back here to America. Now, when she got here to America, they gave her 26 years. Yes, she has been given 26 years here in America. Now, it's sad that her life is gone. Like, so many lives are gone. She took her mother's life when it didn't even have to go that way. It went from young love to like now you're gone. You're out of here forever. It's over with forever. And you have to understand, this happened a long time ago. The Heather Mack case is what? This happened in what, 2000 and what, 14? We're now in 2024. This happened 10 years ago. We're in 2024. And now Heather Mack is back here and she has to do the years here for the murder of her mother. Now, when Tommy Shaffer gets out, the same thing will happen. He will be tried here in America for the same thing because it was like conspiracy. So, what's really going on in the day and time that it really hasn't changed? It hasn't changed. In society, we see the same thing happening. Our youths making poor choices that don't need to be made. I've heard so many people say she could have literally just ran off with him and not took the life of her mother. She could have just ran off, had the baby with Tommy, because allegedly he was a alleged rapper coming up. You know, like it's sad to see that the youth does have so much talent. And even back then, and as we see now, youth has so much talent and it's wasted on so much demonic things. That's the only way I can put it, because we're in a time, and we have been in a time. I know it's a soft subject from the Heather Mack case, but it ties into it. She had the world at her fingertips, traveling around the world, going to Greece, France, Rome, Bali. You know, had a mother that somewhat tried to give her a better life, show her, you know, this is not what you need in your life. But in all, it still got her where? In jail. It was almost like it was no stopping fate. Whether you would have left home, which if she would have left home, would she have ended up in jail? Almost. If you would have left home, not did anything to your mom, would you have ended up in jail? Or would you have ended up somewhere where a job, just taking care of your baby, mending a relationship with your mom, and everything being cool? You know, but it seems like now in society, people make so many, and back again, now people in general, we make so many snap decisions without thinking out, thinking through, like, wait a minute, let me just think this out for a minute. Let's not make a snap decision. And in this decision, it was a plotted decision. And it didn't have to go this way. It didn't. So I just wanted to give y'all a brief talk on the Heather Mack case. Because I know a lot of people were asking me, what happened to the Heather Mack? Are you going to talk about Heather Mack? Yes, here is Heather Mack. So she was sentenced to I'm sorry, I'm pulling up my notes. I'm sorry, guys. She was sentenced to 23 years. And again, it was conspiracy because they talked about how she was going to murder her mother, and it was senseless. It was senseless. And it's even um alleged that it was a bribe of $50,000 to murder her mother, and allegedly advised her boyfriend on how to murder her mother. And again, this was all for greed, all for money, and it did not have to happen. It didn't have to happen. And we see this thing continuously happening in society. Heather Mack is not the only person that has done this. She's not. Let's be real. We hear it more and more in society every day. And it's sad that money and greed will overpower love, affection, and dignity. So we're going to end this podcast for today. And I'm going to end this stream the way I end all streams. If no one told you they love you, I do. I truly, truly do. And make sure you do better today than you did yesterday, and strive for a better tomorrow today. And I'll see you next time for another Mayday Mayhem podcast. And I'm out of here, y'all. Peace. And again, like I always tell y'all, don't let nobody tell you that you ain't special, because there's only one of you. You cannot be replaced. You cannot be cloned. We don't have to talk about that on the podcast. None of that. It's only one of you. You are original, you are true, and it's just you. Make sure you know that, make sure you receive that, and make sure you think about that. It's just one of you. You cannot be replaced. All right. I'll see y'all next time.